So usually I make the beats from scratch in front of you guys for these videos, but today I actually want to break down a beat that I made a week ago because the sample that I created came out really dope, kind of has a sampled feel to it without using a sample. So I'm going to break down the whole thing in front of you and kind of show you how I did it, tips and tricks of ways to get it to sound more like a sample, chop it up, and really get that trap soul vibe that you use a sample but you didn't. So let's get into it. All right, first things first, we're going to listen to the beat. You'll see there's a bunch of stuff going on that I'll explain in a little bit, but let's go ahead and hear what the beat sounds like. Ugh. So the first thing you'll hear obviously is that switch that's pretty common in some of these beats, and it switches the actual pitch and the chops, right? So you'd expect it to come in at that pitch, and then it comes in around there. So that's something I like to do. I'm not sure which pitch I'm actually going to adjust this to when I put the beat out. I'll probably have a link in the description to this beat by the time this video's out. But anyways, I changed the pitch around. So let's go over a couple different things with this. The first thing we need to go over is the actual creation of it, right? So over here, you'll see I have comp, which is just the compiled version of everything that I used to create this that you'll hear right here. So all it was a piano from Keyscape, and I'm gonna go ahead and solo that. So there's some basic chords that I played out. And I did a little bit of inversion. So if I go ahead and take this out and go like this, you'll see this chord right here. So I started off with just simple triads, and then I would do things of inverting sometimes the middle note, and then went ahead and added some lower notes to it. So it's really just 4 chords that repeat over. Then I have a couple of different instances of arcade for different vocals. So let's go to this first one right here. Then we have another one. So you can just find vocals that match the key. So let's go to like this first one right here. It's real CPU heavy, so it might take a second to load. We have a couple of them open. We are in a D sharp minor, right? So it links in when it's linked up with the chord progression. And then all together. So if you're using arcade, you can go through and just get different vocals, right? To kind of create some cool textures to it and add it onto your chords that you have. And that's a really easy way to do it. From there, I then rendered it out to what's called this sample. And then I went ahead and put that into Fruity Slicer and did some chops. And as you can see, it literally just plays straightforward. I didn't like switch it up. You know, I didn't have it go here, which I could have done, but I just liked the arrangement I already had. So in here, this is what this sounds like. And I'll show you inside of here. All you do is drop it in, or you can actually just go to the sample here. You can right click and then tell it to open in Fruity Slicer, and then it'll bring you to here. I went right here and I made this beat, and it chopped to the beat. As long as it's on time, it'll be fine. It's already set here. Take off auto dump. Sometimes it'll put it on and it'll just dump a bunch of notes in, so you have to delete it. And then you'll see I have the pitch brought up by 1 semitone. Brought this up to about 142%. Brought up my attack a little bit, I think about 18, and then left the decay alone, and this is how the sample chops sound. Right, and if we want attack to go more, let me see what's at. We're at 18, so let's go up to like 50. Get more of a fade in. Right, but I think 18 was cool. Kind of got rid of the pops in the beginning of it, and it gave me a kind of delayed feel that I liked, as if it was being chopped with a fade in, which is what I wanted to go for. Then you can also mess with, you know, pitch, depending how you want it to be pitched, and mess around. Now I can just sit here and go. Real simple, you know, real simple sampling method. and then you could sit there and create all your different chops. But for me, I just went straight up, nice easy chop. So when it's actually in the mix, this is what you hear. And remember, we came from this, right? Which was the whole composition here. Wanted it to sound more sampled, so I brought it in here. And then this is linked into the mixer. I have some EQ on it. I cut out some lows and some highs. I put a doubler on it, a bit of reverb, and then a gross beat, which is, I believe it's automated. Maybe it's not automated. I think the halftime's automated. So on the gross beat, all I did was mess with some of the volume parameters, and it kind of gives it like a wave to it, right? So if we go over here, you'll see it follows along. And you could put it on the one beat gate, and then you can come over here, right click on them. Most of them are on smooth. You can change this and really just create your own type of volume automation. I believe by default, let's see what it looks. It looks like this. So all I did was come over here, smooth it out, bring it up, and mess with it and just kind of create my own version of it. And then you'll see there's a parametric EQ that's linked to it, and I have some automation going. And what that is doing is it's linked to this EQ right here. And when it cuts on, you're going to see what the EQ is doing. Right? So we have a high cut going. And all it's doing is following what I'm doing right here. And if I take it off, you'll hear the samples just straight. Right, straightforward. I wanted there to be some motion in it and to kind of give it like a tone by taking out some of the high end. So all I did for that was come over here, and on this filter, you right click, create automation, and then you can control what it does. And you could do that with the low end too, but for this one, all I did was make it follow here, and then you'll see that it moves along. So we lose some high end and then it comes back. And it gives it a really nice tone. And then for this sample, all it is literally this sample, but not chopped up. And it's pitched up about 300 cents, which I wanted it to be different on the intro and then completely switch in. And that's what you get when it drops in. This one also has an EQ being automated to kind of give it like, let's see, where is it at? Intro. You'll see it automates. Take out some high end again, so it could be a nice fade in. And so you can't really when you're doing this, you can't really not remember, but like it helps out because I'm doing like a pitch transition, so it's not so abrupt. And since it's fading out, taking a lot of that high end, it kind of disappears. And then the other one can come in smoother since it's at a different pitch, which honestly probably wouldn't fit without that. So let's see. That filter really helps out because without it, let's go ahead and take that filter off. It's cool, but it's too much going on. With the filter, it kind of brings it in and then brings it out, right? Because we're automating that high end in and out, and it really helps out create it to sound more like a sample and something someone can get on. Compared to when it's not having that on it, it's kind of too busy, I think. And then from there, drums are pretty easy. If we go ahead and just solo the drums, we have a kick pattern going. Let me just show you the drums. Some nice hi-hats going down here that kind of give us that feeling. Right, nothing crazy. Nice kick pattern going. Cool snare, and then the 808, show what the 808's doing. Let's bring in the kick. We'll bring in the snare too. 808 has some glides on it, so let me find those. There we go. Just gives it a nice tone. Cuts off. Honestly, here, I could probably create the 808 to follow along with that kick. and then like have it spaced like this if I want. Let me see. I don't know. I don't want to mess with it right now, but you get what I'm saying. We can come in here and kind of sync it with the kick, but it worked in the mix. It was fine. So that's cool. And then those kind of just play along with the sample, and it just gives it like a nice bounce to it. And then over here, you'll see I have halftime going. Let me see. I believe it was on, maybe it's on the full track. Trying to remember where I have the halftime automated. Oh, it's on the hi-hats. Okay. So this automation here that you're seeing is for the hi-hats. So you'll see what's going to happen when we drop into the verse. So the hi-hats have like a nice little halftime on them. And then I created a second chop for this. So if we go into here, it's a bit longer on the chops, I believe. And then I went ahead and did another automation, right? And this one is the same. You see how this one has like a wave to it, so the EQ would be coming in and out like that. For this one, it was more straightforward. You'll see it's just following along, slowly starts to build up, because without any of that, this is what it would sound like. It's cool, but this one's better because it has that automation going to it, and I can make it more drastic if I wanted. You know, I can sit here and go like this and then take this up here, and you'll see what that does. Watch the EQ. You can literally do whatever you want with it. I can create something weird like this. Whatever you really want to do. Automation's really cool, especially with EQ bands. And then that halftime comes on for the hi-hat and then cuts off again. So it created a quick on and off. And that's just by taking this, you know, making it unique, right? And then turning it off. And then I have it on and off, and I put it where I need it. And then that's really the switch up. And then for the sine bass, it's just a different type of bass. And I have it coming in. So you hear the difference. Let's see, let's solo these and bring in the sine. So you'll go from the 808 to the sine. And it's following the same thing, the same notes that are being played, but like I said, they're different 808s, and it gives it that nice switch up. So it ended up coming out really dope, and I wanted to kind of break this down because I feel like it kind of had that sampled feel to it, and then just small automation tricks really helped out. So hopefully that gave you guys some insight on a few different tips and tricks that I like to do when creating these Trapsoul beats that kind of sound like they have samples to it. Hopefully you picked up some cool stuff. If you like the tutorials like this, I can do more like this, obviously, of kind of breaking down beats that I already made, but explaining how I did them, which is really cool because then it gives me time to kind of break down beats that I didn't do completely from scratch on camera, that I might have had made in a day where I was making a bunch of certain types of beats or whatever. And then I can kind of just, you know, come in here, break them down, and then you can kind of learn that way too. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. You can follow me on all social medias at Lifestyle Did It. Make sure to hit my site, lifestyledidit.com, for everything else. Other than that, subscribe to your boy, push notifications. Thanks.